Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This channel has gone over a few different revamps in the last couple of years, months even, and that's because I really don't know what I want to focus on. So don't expect my channel to have like an actual set theme of videos, just go with whatever it's going with, I don't know. Recently, I've been really into those kind of deep dive videos and video essays on certain topics, such as nostalgic childhood stuff. So I have taken it upon myself to research one of my favorite forgotten childhood TV shows, Katie and Orbie. This video is broken down into a few different categories, such as characters, story, production, and the end of Katie and Orbie. So let's begin. Katie and Orbie is a Canadian animated TV show aimed for preschoolers. It ran from 1993 to 2003 by Family Channel, and in 2 years was aired on PBS in the USA from 1995 to 1997. The show as well was broadcasted on Playhouse Disney or Disney Channel, depending on where you live, from 1997 to 2000. Surprisingly, this show lasted long enough to be aired on the rebranded Playhouse Disney, later known as Disney Junior, till 2012. There are 78 episodes in total and 6 seasons. When it comes to people behind making the show, it relies a lot on family. The story itself is based on the books Katie and Orbie Save the Planet, which was written by Susan Wicks and illustrated by her father, Ben Wicks, who had passed a few weeks before production. The theme song as well was written by Edmund Egan and performed by Edmund's niece, Morel Egan. I probably said that wrong. Sorry. One of the most notable things about the series is animation, or lack of. Katie and Orbie uses a style which is referred to as picture motion. So, for this, the creators did not use a lot of animation. If they did, it would be really subtle things like the butterfly at the end of the theme song, or the characters just blinking. They wanted to give that kind of vibe that you were looking through a flip book. So there's no animation, just drawings. The show follows Katie, a blonde 5-year-old girl who is imaginative, playful, curious, and who participates in ballet classes. That's really all Wiki had to say about her. The show as well follows Orbie, hence the title, Katie and Orbie. Now, Orbie is an alien. He is pink, and his backstory of his planet is unknown, with just saying he's from outside the Earth's solar system. However, in one of the books, Katie and Orbie pick up the garbage, we learn that Orbie was sent away from his home planet because of the pollution that was building on his planet, which was not capable of any sort of life. I'm not sure if it talks about this in the series. I know that in the very first episode, it does not talk about anything relating to Orbie even coming to the Earth, so I don't really know. Orbie as well is said to be the same age as Katie, so 5 years old. He also doesn't talk. He communicates in squeaking, chirping, and honking his nose, and somehow everyone is able to understand what he's saying, despite him not even talking any language at all. He also has red spots on his body, and in the earlier episodes, it was noted that they can change color depending on his emotions and mood. One very notable thing about Orbie is that he sleeps in Katie's closet upside down. And we will get into why that's kind of weird in a few seconds. Another thing about Orbie was that during production, he was almost changed to Hug Me. Thankfully, he wasn't. Katie's father is named Wayne. This is mentioned in episode The Thunderstorm, the very first episode, but he is mostly referred to as Dad. He works in an office building and he likes to be humorous to his children. Now, Katie's mother is Susan, and her name is mentioned in the episode Miss Parrot's Picture. I probably said her name wrong too. But just like Wayne, she is called Mom. It is said that she has a job, although she's mostly seen being at home other than taking business calls or filing paperwork. But she has won an award for her work, except that we can never know what she does for a job. So Miss Girl could be a beautifully Nobel Prize winning scientist, and we never know. I love Susan. There's also a bunch of recurring characters, such as Miss Elaine Perrette, Chance the Cat, Andy, Arthur, who had a great redemption arc from being a bully to being categorized as simple but mischievous. Yi Ping, who taught Katie and Orbie Chinese traditions but also got whitewashed. Kyra, Phoebe, Bryn, and the wiki had to point out that Bryn has an egg allergy. Not really sure why it's important, but there was an episode called Does This Have Eggs in It? Dakota, who was later replaced by Miguel. Micah, who, fun fact, was the first character to portray Down syndrome in an animated series. Tom and Tom's girlfriend Polly, Belkis, Therese, and Carrie. I want to take a moment to just appreciate the amount of diversity and representation the show actually has for being from the 90s. Some shows now don't even include the amount of diversity that this show has. Of course, episodes are very short and the main characters are Katie and Orbie, but a lot of episodes, even by the title, you can tell, really focus on tough topics such as racism or ableism, or even simple things that kids will understand like divorce. All these children are extremely different from each other and do give good representation to people who relate to them. I would cover all of them, but they have a lot of backstory, which can be read on the Wikipedia, which will be linked in the description below. Now, how Katie met Orbie.
It's Katie and Orbie, and here's a bunch of stories.
The theme song explains literally how Orbie got to Earth and how he met Katie. Also showing Orbie's planet, which is described to be blue with a ring around it. Can we take a moment to just think about how the theme song is 2 minutes long? The short stories themselves are 8 minutes, and there's 3 short stories per episode for a grand total of 26 minutes. And in those 26 minutes is a 2-minute theme song. What? And another thing that I wanted to kind of point out was when I was trying to find lyrics for a theme song, because for some reason YouTube has no captions on them. I came across some Little Bear fanfic that mentioned Katie and Orbie's theme song, but also had Pepe the Frog. Let me know if I should cover Little Bear. The theme song also is a bit fast to understand, so I might have, made it wrong, but I am just listening. I can't really read what she's saying. Far away out past the moon came a little pink friend all alone. There's a house with a girl inside, so she raced, and to his pride, Katie sees a friend in need, Orbie. It's Katie and Orbie, and here's a bunch of stories about Katie and Orbie and all the things they do. Katie met Orbie, now has a brand new family, to teach him that people all have some good inside. Fly a kite, find a snake, come outside or learn to skate. Build a snowman with your friend, Orbie. Adventure and playtime should always last a lifetime. And with a friend like Orbie, fun is guaranteed. This sounds like slam poetry. So Katie and Orbie are ready with their story, playing and learning about all the things they do. As the sun begins each day, our new friend is here to stay. And yes, that's a theme song, and yes, it's 2 minutes long. So, by the lyrics, it is obvious that Orbie was found by Katie in Katie's backyard. And honestly, if I found an alien in my backyard, the last thing I would do is teach it how to skate. But nonetheless, Orbie arrives on Earth in a small spaceship. And I mean small. He lands in Katie's backyard, and Katie, being 5, immediately becomes best friends with him. Katie's parents adopt him, and he is now considered Katie's brother. And of course, this being a children's show, everyone is oblivious to the fact that Orbie is an alien. And what I want to know is, why is that such a persistent thing in children's shows? My first enemy is Vampirina, because how come her neighbor is this huge vampire hunter enthusiast, but then fails to notice how his neighbors are vampires? They're blue. They have teeth. They fly and they hang upside down. You went camping with them. Hello? In the first episode, The Thunderstorm, Orbie is seen hanging upside down in Katie's closet. Now, how come Katie's parents adopted this alien and failed to give him a bedroom or even a bed? Like, okay, maybe he has some attachment to Katie for finding him, but you're telling me there's no bed you can put in Katie's room? Also, their house is, huge. So there is enough bedrooms in that house for Orbie to have his own room if he found likely. In the episode, the thunder and lightning scare Orbie so bad that he sticks to the top of Katie's closet. And he must have some kind of sticky ability alongside his dots of emotion, because later on, a few seconds later, he sticks to the ceiling again, but this time holding on to Katie. And when he falls off the ceiling, it's some like suction cup noise. Now Mother Susan walks in to comfort Katie and Orbie, and being the smart girl that I knew she was, explains to them how thunder and lightning is created. They play the thunder game, that one game where you count in between how long it takes for the thunder and lightning to be apart from each other. Susan also explains to them the longer you count, the further away the storm is. Which, for example, Katie counts to 6, which means the storm is further away than it once was. At the end of the episode, the kids are no longer scared of the thunderstorm, and they put the kids back to bed. They literally put Orbie back in the closet. Another thing I forgot to mention is that this show has a little segment between each short story called Did You Know?
You know.
Which basically tells the viewer something interesting, but does not relate to what the episode's actually talking about. For example, in the episode The Thunderstorm, the Did You Know is, did you know that the beach is a good place to go when it is hot outside? But I wanted to say, did you know that Susan is literally a baddie? How did Wayne pull her? The last episode of Katie and Orbie was aired June 9th, 2003. I wasn't even born yet. The episode, just like every other one, is 3 short stories. Tap Shoes, The Letter, and I Really Love You. Unfortunately, it's very hard to find Katie and Orbie episodes because the company that once owned them, their rights no longer exist to Katie and Orbie, and then they sold them, and then who knows what happened to Katie and Orbie. But I was able to find I Really Love You, which is technically the very last story ever shown of Katie and Orbie. The beginning of the episode shows Katie and Orbie eating carrots. Of course, it says something that Katie learned that day, which in that episode is something about carrots, which, fun fact, was also what she first learned in the very first episode, The Thunderstorm. Katie also has this laugh, which I'm pretty sure is like the iconic laugh. Like this laugh.
Katie learned.
After they are done eating, Katie goes on to play a puzzle while Wayne is on the phone. Katie overhears that he is losing his patience. Don't make Wayne angry. Orbie eventually comes downstairs and asks Katie to play tag. Katie says no, she's building a puzzle. Eventually, Susan comes into the room as well and sits down on the couch. And if you look very closely, you'll see me beside her on the couch, cuddling her. Orbie asks if she wants to play tag with him, and she says, no, I'm tired. I'm running out of energy. I want to sit down on the couch. Can someone play tag with this alien? Eventually, Katie and Orbie play bowling. But not tag, no tag, just bowling. Susan says she is running outside because she's running out of groceries, which makes Katie think back on how she was once running out of energy and her dad's running out of patience. And she comes to the conclusion that people run out of things pretty fast. Tell me about it. I ran out of money. Katie then experiences a crisis, like full-blown panic attack, thinking about how if people can run out of energy, money, and groceries, is it possible for her parents to run out of love for her and Orbie? Katie then confides in Orbie and tells him this thought that she is having, which of course Orbie thinks she's joking because he's an alien, he's not gonna understand that thing. But then eventually he realizes she's serious, and then he starts to cry about it. And it's even explained that to Orbie, this is the worst thing imaginable. So him having to leave his home planet and all of his family behind means nothing to him. He's fine. Katie's also very smart for a 5-year-old. It's really explained throughout all of these episodes. And in this episode, she tries to explain to Orbie that she's unsure if running out of love is similar to using it up, like energy, or running out of it, like patience. So the two of them come up with a plan to just not ask for anything extra, to take any more love away from mom and dad, and just keep it all inside. Orbie wouldn't let Susan cook for him, and Katie wouldn't let dad clear a spot on the table for her. Eventually, not even eventually, literally a few seconds after that interaction, Susan and Wayne think to themselves how something must be up with the kids. They sit them down, and Katie and Orbie try not to think about it and try to tell their parents about it to worry them anymore. But eventually Katie folds and she starts crying. Katie starts crying and then explains her new fear to her parents, and this leaves them flabbergasted. Wade begins to tell them, running out of love will never be a problem. The more you love, the more room you have inside for new love to grow. You can never love too many people because inside of you, as you give it away, more love would grow. A beautiful way to end the whole series. Although only making episodes for 11 years, the furthest I could find about this show's runtime is 25 years. It last being shown April 13th, 2017. Did you watch Katie and Orbie? Katie and Orbie is honestly a very comfy show. I know a lot of TikTok parents complain that shows now kind of are too much color, too loud noise, too much going on. So I really think that shows such as Katie and Orbie should come back because they're very comfy. They're soft colors, literally no animation to be chaotic movement. And the narrator, Leslie Nelson, his voice is so smooth and comforting that I literally want to fall asleep to it. So go on and add Katie and Orbie to the list of bluey shows for your kids to watch. If they're anything like me, they'll love it so much that they will stay up all night at their grandparents' house just to watch it. That's a reference to me. I used to do that. I forgot about it for years, only being able to remember the pink alien with spots. Orbie also used to scare me a little bit because look at him. But despite Orbie being a little bit odd-shaped, he's a sweet alien who dreamed about hugging Dad while doing it. All the sources I use are going to be linked in the description below. Let me know if you enjoyed this and if there's any other shows I should talk about. Goodbye!